Andres Rastelli, Business Development Manager at Clenergy. What a human being. Unbelievably enthusiastic and passionate professional about renewable energy. This was one of those podcasts where I just wanted to continue for another 2 or 3 hours, and we covered so much. We talked about his early days in Venezuela, growing up as a pretty naughty boy who still managed to finish his civil engineering degree. We talked renewable energy, we talked rail, we talked structural integrity, and we even covered some diverse subjects such as the incredibly strong Roman concretes that are still in existence where they've used volcanic ash, in addition to food, wine, passion, family, everything. As I said, this podcast could have gone on for hours and hours. Both Andreas and myself can talk underwater effectively. So if you want to see passion, you want to see enthusiasm, sit yourself down, strap yourself in and enjoy. And remember, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. That enables us to continue making these podcasts. You came out to Australia, and that's what we were talking off camera before. That's what makes Australia great. What's your background?
So I'm Venezuelan. I was born in Venezuela, so South America, between Colombia and Brazil. And well, what got me here? I'm still asking. I'm still questioning. Right? And I'm never regret. I think that was the best decision I've done in my life, like wholeheartedly. But yeah, I came here scared, as you cannot imagine. But my sister, about 8-9 years ago, she was interviewing, getting job offers, looking to leave Venezuela. Obviously, we were not in a good situation, still not in a good situation. So, you try to look for better place, better life quality, safer, somewhere you can feel, hey, I can have a family here. I plant my roots, right? And then she got a job offer, which I was telling you before, right? New Zealand. Coming from a Venezuelan, if you literally immediately your brother or sister tells you, I'm going to go to New Zealand, the first thing you think is, where is New Zealand? How far is it? How many planes do I have to get? And it's a long ride there, right? So, yeah, Caracas, Miami, LA, Auckland, 16-hour flight, which is no picnic. I think any flight after 10 hours, you're pretty much in just this mind zone that is, I'm in a tube. I need to get out of this.
Yeah, that's true.
Honestly, it was a wonderful experience. I think one of the things I appreciated the most was the other side of the world, right? New Zealand, amazing. I'm like at Maori, the islands, the background, the beautiful landscape. It's stunning, right? Now I understand why Lord of the Rings, big,
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, we were in Auckland, beautiful city, amazing, like small but vibrant, modern.
So you moved to New Zealand first?
Sort of. You know what? I packed a few extra bags. Put it that way.
Yeah,
I'm
gotcha.
my mom saw me carrying 2 big bags. She said, you're leaving too. I said, I'll stick around to see what I can do, right, in New Zealand. That was my original plan. My sister was there, brother-in-law went there as well. So I'm like, you know what? I've got my sister and brother-in-law in New Zealand. I'll see what a chance I can get. I'm a civil engineer. So I thought, okay. I got into Auckland and I started just walking around. I love doing this. If I go to a city or wherever I go, I try to walk, I try to drink, I try to eat, I try to live here, music, the culture, because that's my biggest thing, right? Traveling. That's what I want to do. I want to get out there and visit the most I can before I leave this world, hopefully, right? So when I was there, I was shocked. I'm like, wow.
What do you mean? Shocked by
in
what?
the good way. By everything. The food. Definitely nothing that resembled where I came from, right? I was like, all right, this is New Zealand. This for me, it's very exotic. And yeah, Auckland was beautiful. I stayed there for 2.5, 3 months. And then I had a couple of friends here in Melbourne. Shout out to them. I really, now in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, thank you guys. They both civil engineers from the same university, man and woman, right? Both really good friends of mine. And then Stella, she said, look, you know what? I think you have better chances here to finding a job quicker. because it's a bit bigger
Yeah.
country, bigger construction is just booming. Why don't you just come visit and stay a couple of weeks? You can apply for a working holiday visa. Thankfully, I had the Italian passport, dual nationality, and that was allowed me to apply to a working holiday visa
Right.
here. So, you know what, nervous. I'm like, Jesus, what do I do? All right, let's just go to Australia. Let's see how it is. I've always been like amazing animals, beaches, like culture of, Australia. Wow. And then I landed here in Melbourne and went to Southern Cross with my two bags, two big suitcases. And I'm like, what is this? Where am I? But that was fascinating. It's when you hear, you got to get out of your comfort zone. When you start living, you do. And I didn't realize that. For me, it was like, we're all in. Let's just go for it. I want to stay here. I want to see how it is. But where we were talking before, coffee, it's a big thing.
And we're going to talk more about that in a second. Okay, I really want to talk about coffee because before we started rolling, we were talking in the kitchen at Greenwood because we have a decent coffee machine.
Nice.
That's one of the requirements for having a happy office. And coffee. What was your views on coffee outside of, say, Venezuela? Like before you came to Australia, what were your views on? What was the coffee going to be like, or was it going to be American coffee? Give us a rundown of what your thoughts were.
I was scared. I'm not kidding. There's no other way to put it, right?
Yeah, right.
Right? I thought, I'm like, if the coffee is like in United States, I'll cry every day under the shower or whatever. I'm sorry for the US viewers or anything, but the United States don't have good coffee. It's just black water. But it's all right.
Yep.
Look, coming back to it.
No,
yes,
it's not all right. Come on.
It's not all right. Sorry. You guys should work on your coffee a little bit more. But look, South American, we're Latinos. This is the land of the coffee. Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela. It's in our history. It's in our blood. But Italian side, that's the mix. It's fascination for soccer, coffee, and pasta, obviously, right? So I had no choice. I coffee for me, it's a big deal, right? As I told you, I'm not kidding. As soon as I wake up, the first thing I think, that coffee smell, when you just brew it and you just smell it and you wait for it to get a little bit not that hot, and then, you have a few sips. That first sip, I feel I'm turning on the engine, right? When I got here, I didn't know that you guys had such good coffee, and you guys do. Australia has.
When did you
really
find
good
that
coffee.
out, though?
As soon as I got off from the Skybus at Southern Cross, I literally crossed the street, went to a coffee place. I'm like, you can have a long black espresso, whatever, just black coffee, no sugar. Yeah, sure. Here you go. I'm sitting down, and you can feel the aroma in the place. And you'd be like, I'm getting, I'm building up the expectation, right? So I had the first sip. Jesus Christ. I locked in the eyes. I'm like, brother, can I give you a hug? Like, no weird thing. Just, mate, this is amazing coffee. You guys must be famous around here. I was like, that's normal coffee, man. We do it here. We roast it with it. I'm like, all right. So I started, trying a little bit more coffee and stuff. Jesus, it's really good coffee. And I love the rivalry between Melbourne and Sydney.
Yeah.
Who has the best coffee? And that fun part of it is that they've both stepped up amazingly in the coffee culture, trying to beat the other one.
They have.
And it's worked really good for people living in both cities, because now you have really good quality coffee. And we will never know which coffee is better. I'll say Melbourne because I love Melbourne and I live here.
You live here,
But
what about New Zealand coffee?
Not bad. Good question, to be honest. Also, not bad. Because I tried a little bit around. I was impressed with the coffee I tried from Suva, from Java. Very strong.
Yeah.
A little bit acidic, but very strong coffee. But I guess it's where you cultivate it, the soil.
Yeah.
And more than that, how you process it, how you toast it, how you grind it, and how you prepare it, everything comes into play. People just think, no, it's the bean, and then it's the coffee pot. It's not. It's the soil. It's the altitude, the frequency to how you irrigate it.
Very true.
So there's a big science behind coffee.
It is. It's to me. It's also a bit of a black art. It's a combination of, art and science, because we've all. You can go to the same coffee shop and say the baristas have got a fully manual coffee machine, and you got this guy, and he does it well, and then you go in one day and it's someone different. And it's the same bloody coffee, but it can't taste completely different because they didn't do this for long enough, or they didn't heat it up here. So it all plays a big role, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I'm old school. I would heat the mug before pouring coffee because it lasts longer.
That's good. That's good. In Venezuela, when do children, when do children start? When do
you start drinking coffee?
Yeah. When do you
from school? My mom.
What do you mean? What
first year of school?
What, primary school?
Yeah.
No,
I'm not kidding, Billy. I'm not kidding. Shout out to my mom. I love you. But yeah, it is true. She can tell. I had this size jug, half coffee, half milk, no sugar, no nothing. And I'm not kidding.
I'm shocked.
Every time we were going to school and getting dropped off, I had my big thermos,
God.
We were just sipping happily. And my mom was like, "Perfect, not my problem anymore. That's the school's problem now."
But everyone's very alert in class then, aren't they?
The first hours.
And then you need another coffee. That's wow. What was it like growing up in Venezuela? I mean, I know it's a hard question to ask because you didn't grow up anywhere else, but what are some of your fond memories, of when you were growing up at school?
Good question. Look, I would just say the living in the street, not living like in the street, just playing around in the street. I think we were the last generation who grabbed a skateboard, who had a broken knee or whatever. We had fun in the street with our mates. We played around. Came December and we were all throwing like firecrackers. Everything.
Oh, you allowed firecrackers?
100%. Yeah. Oh yeah, well
I was too when I was a kid, but they changed
it's a lawless land back there.
Wow,
it's a beautiful country. Don't get me wrong. I love my country. I'll always love it. For me, it's a big part of me. But yeah, look, since the 2000s, we had into power, Chavez came into power. This is where my country started to decline, pretty much. But the country still is itself. You cannot, even if it's 100 years of bad government, of hardship, of anything, it still is Venezuela. It still is Venezuelan people. We're very warm, hardworking people. I guess it's part of our culture, right? And the food, definitely. We waited till December for a specific typical food. It's called pan de jamón. It's ham bread. So it's like a ham roll.
Yeah.
There are different versions of it. You can have a normal pastry or puff pastry with ham. Imagine you've got puff pastry sheet.
Yeah.
And you squeeze it a little bit. You put cream cheese. You put ham. You put bacon, and then you roll.
Ham and bacon.
Wow. And then you can put raisins in it and olives.
Because the raisins go with the cheese, don't they?
Correct.
That sweetness, yes.
And just that mixture from ham, bacon, a little bit of raisins. I used to take the olives out. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
This is another weird thing about me. I can shower in olive oil, but I don't like olives.
What, even the green ones?
No. I had my previous missus. She gave me every olive you can find in the world: Kalamata, green olives, African, you name it, right? But I tried them all. And I said I can shower myself in olive oil. But anyway, coming back to it, it's a very typical dish. And yaca, like a Christmas food back home, was really, really hearty, really nice. But it was about the family time. Christmas for us, we celebrated. We brought every family member you can imagine. So it's a big celebration for us. Mom, dad, uncle, aunties, granddad, grandma, everyone playing in a single place, making the food.
Yep.
Drinking.
This is very
singing.
Italian too, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Because I think it's a weird mix, Venezuela, right? I'm going to talk about the good things.
It's a Catholic, like a lot of South America, it's predominantly Catholic, isn't it?
I would say predominantly Catholic. We've got a big community of Catholic Christians. There's Jewish as well. There is Muslim. There is, but predominantly I would say Catholic.
Indigenous people as well?
Yes.
Still? Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
Who are fantastic, very interesting. We can talk about it if you
Yeah,
want later.
yeah,
Because
definitely.
they live disconnected from the world, and I think they're the lucky ones,
Yeah.
not us. They don't have any issues. They live long.
Right.
They are always happy, and they enjoy. But coming back to it, you gotta remember, look, after World War II, a lot of two things happened, right? Europe was in a mess situation, very dire situation. Talking about my grandfather and my grandmother, they come from a little town in Parma, Busetto and Soragna, little towns that were completely obliterated. They were destroyed. They endured carpet bombing, whatnot.
Wow.
Like, this was really tough for them. And Jesus, I got to give it up to him. Like, he was 29 years old after the war, and then war ends, and they were like, what do we do, right? So he had a friend who told him, you know what, Renzo, my grandfather, Renzo, I think in South America, they have jobs. There's this little country there, Venezuela. They're taking as many immigrants as they can.
Wow. What year was this around about? What, you're talking in the 60s or?
I would say
later?
early 50s.
Right.
50, yeah, mid 50s or
Okay.
something like that. And Venezuela was known for taking immigrants at that time, and we're offering everyone a house, a job, and teaching them how to do any office.
Wow.
Like, they were literally
Lots
saying,
of incentives.
yes, you can come here, have a passport, have a house, have a job. And this was news back in the day, right? And then, boom, oil. This was the biggest boom. And
Yeah.
I think that was the good and the bad thing. This was a Damocles sword, right? That was what happened to my country. In a nutshell, oil. For the good and the bad. Because, of course, there were plenty of big reserves that they were oil wells. They discovered so much oil, but it's extra heavy crude. So to refine it, you have to. It needs a lot of refining. It
Okay,
needs a lot.
more energy to, yeah, gotcha.
Correct. In Arab countries, the oil that they've got, the crude, is very light crude. So they don't have to refine it that much. You can just literally put a petrol from the dunes. You know.
Wow.
That's their advantage, to be honest.
Right.
Which is a good. Obviously it's a good advantage, and hence why Arab countries look extremely well, and they've got more money and resources
And huge investment in renewables too, because they've got the money.
Infrastructure,
Yep.
renewable energy, So our oil was it's Brent type crude, extra heavy, but that brought a lot of money into Venezuela in an uncontrolled manner. Government started to.
So we're talking about foreign
60s,
investment,
yeah.
or
Investment
was it the
and-
government investing in the oil as well?
Correct. So
Okay.
they oil was sort of nationalized, and then
Smart.
we had a state oil company, PDVSA, Petróleo de Venezuela, Venezuelan petroleum, literally. And yeah, this was what brought a brute amount of resource and money to the country. And I like to think that it was used well at the beginning, and then it just transformed and led way to a lot of corruption, a lot of bad. Nowadays is a bit of a mess.
Greed, huh?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, to be honest, because we had good presidents back in the day. We had dictatorships. We had a lot of military regimes. One of them, Perez Jimenez, he used a lot of money from oil to build roads, to build infrastructure, highways, schools, hospitals, universities. Like, they focused to build, right? To put money into construction. That was good. That was wise at the time. And then our currency, this is the utopic effect. Our currency was worth a lot back in the day. Not a lot. It was a strong currency, the Bolivar. It was strong.
Is this before when the currencies were on a fixed exchange rate? Are you talking about before they became floating?
Correct.
Yeah, gotcha.
And look, a lot of people saw Venezuela as a very rich country, not from back in the day, like a newly rich country from oil, and had a lot of resources and beach, amazing places, the Caribbean. of course, rum, women, food. Like there was a lot of things that you say, like Jesus Christ, I want to go and see Venezuela, right?
Yes.
So that brought a wave of immigrants from Italy, from Spain, from Portugal, from Germany. So we are a weird mix in Venezuela. We have a lot of Spanish, a lot of Portuguese, a lot of Italian, but they took, I don't know, funnily enough, some I would say ethnicities took a whole industry. So for example, bakeries. They're all run by Portuguese families in Venezuela.
Right.
You cannot find one bakery that is not run by a Portuguese family.
Wow.
I'm not kidding.
Wow.
This is sort of the things that we look and say, yeah, that's funny. It only happens in Venezuela.
Well, a little in Australia with the fish and chip shops in the early days, all mostly run by Greek families,
There you go.
and then Italians ran, cafes.
Yeah.
So
Fruit and vegetables.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Fruit and
yeah.
vegetable wholesale market, Italiano. So they found their niche. So wow,
So
that's amazing.
think about that, right? You got people from Caribbean mixed with different European cultures. Like, for example, we have a town called Colonia Tovar, which is a German alpine town. You go there, you would think you're tripping or something because it looks like Germany. Everything. The houses are built German style. People dress German.
Oh no, not with lederhosen.
Well,
Good. No, sorry.
I mean,
really. And
Yeah,
is there
yeah.
a big German community there?
Correct.
There must
Well,
be. Yeah.
It's I would say predominantly Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese,
Oh,
but
oh,
Germans
okay.
as well.
Yeah, there must be.
And some Greeks. So that mix, right? It's fascinating. It is.
Wow.
We're weird. I would say culture
Melting
country.
pot.
Yeah. There you go. And you know what? Some similarities with Australia. I love here that this is one of the most multicultural countries I've ever been. It's great because you get everyone brought from their country or culture the best things they had
Yes.
and adapted to the best thing Australia had here. But look, as immigrants, we come in here, and I think one of the most, I would say, important things to remember is that when you go to a new place, you have to embrace their culture as well.
But at the same time, we spoke about this before. You
Correct.
got to maintain where you came from.
Correct, which is where you are, your essence.
Yes.
You're genuine. Yeah, and this is the mix that makes countries like this so rich culturally.
Yes.
Because you can go anywhere here. You can go to a really nice Italian restaurant, Greek restaurant. I had Ethiopian coffee the other day, and I had Ethiopian food, amazing. Korean barbecues, which we've talked plenty of it. But this is what you get when you have such a multicultural
So food is
country.
really important, isn't it, to bring people together? Because
100%.
there's that commonality. You might have a different religion, look a little bit different, but food, tasty food, everyone loves
likes it.
tasty
Correct.
food. That's it, isn't it?
And it doesn't get better than that. When you see, like, Jesus, Australia really has that, I would say, big, outstanding quality, right? This is a mixture of amazing cultures. So, yeah, definitely food. And I don't know, just the traditions, right? Footy, the biggest thing here. I had no idea about footy coming here.
AFL, yes.
AFL.
Yes.
And I didn't know about the intensity with the footy teams and everything. And funny enough, good anecdote, my first job here as a professional was in Oz Group Alliance. Shout out to that company, amazing team, amazing people. And Nick Marandos, my first boss, he's Greek Australian.
I was going to say, Greek background, yeah.
So, all right, first week, I'm nervous. I'm like, I got to get a good impression, try to learn from as many people, fit in and get along and learn from your new team. First week, Veli. Come Thursday afternoon, I get an email, high importance. Andres footy picking ceremony, Friday, 4 p.m. I said, Jesus Christ, what the hell is going on, And then I like, all right, I start, like my colleagues, like, this email is for, it's like, oh yeah, you have to pick a team, mate. Like, oh, okay, all right. Fair enough, right? I didn't know how prepared they were for that. they had a huge boardroom. Everyone had their shirts on. It's like, this is why you have to pick the Tigers, Richmond and the Tigers.
Oh,
and,
they're trying to convert.
no. St. Kilda because of our history, our heathen, And then my boss, very smart guy, because in the interview he'd ask me a few questions. He knew I love coffee. He knew my Italian side. I love Juventus, right?
Of course, yeah.
Soccer team.
Yes.
Doesn't get better than that. He waited for everyone to go, and then he just literally picked up a Collingwood shirt and said, "You know these colors?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a Juventus shirt." No. Look closer. What's that team? Well, whatever team that is, I'm that team. I didn't know a lot of people didn't like Collingwood.
I vote for Collingwood too. They're not well loved by anyone.
But it made me feel like at home because a lot of people hate Juventus. So you know what? I said, mate, that's it. You're the boss.
That's
so
great.
Even better, right? We all had a laugh. We all had a big fun. And then he gave me a Collingwood hat and a sweater, and then he bought me tickets to go and see them. I said, Jesus, all right, that's amazing. I like it made you feel well received, and then I went to a game, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, mate. What the hell? These guys are badasses. They would play with broken ribs. Why is there no yellow card for that or red card? I'm like, Jesus, all right. Definitely the difference.
If you've got too many teeth to be a true Collingwood supporter.
Yeah.
Usually they got one eye and missing teeth. So sorry about that.
I've always heard that.
I am a Collingwood supporter and I'm missing a couple of teeth at the back. So yes.
Yeah. No, I've got many friends as well, and I've made friends here that they're all Collingwood supporter as well. The thing with the teeth and stuff. And then you see how big it is here, AFL. How people just. But what I like the most when I saw Richmond versus Collingwood in MCG, right? Wow, packed stadium, packed
90,000 or something. Yeah,
and I'm talking. It was raining hard.
Wow,
everyone was there. People had their ponchos or whatever and everything, and intensity with the game. We got our asses whooped. Like that was like 112 versus 54, 56 or something like that. People were still there, and what impressed me the most. No one was fighting. No one, whatever, insulting each other. Little bit of banter and stuff like that. But people respected each other. And I'm like, and there's also police, but nothing was happening. And I'm like, all right. I love that there's respect in the bottom of it all. Jokes and teasers and everything. But, this is the culture thing. Footy is a big thing here. And then I said, okay, I need to learn what's the game? What's a little bit of a... I didn't know I was born here in Victoria, AFL. I think so, right?
Victorian Football League was, yeah.
And it's just interesting because I say there's no other country like footy is only played here. And, when you come and you experience that, you're like, all right, that's an awesome thing. Cricket, I don't understand cricket. I'm sorry for cricket viewers.
A lot of people don't.
But, mate, how come a game can last 4 days? Imagine if that's your game and that's a final game and 4 days. I don't have it in me, mate. Like
we'll discuss that another time. I wanted to move on to your education. Now, what you studied civil engineering in Venezuela.
Yes.
Now, I know when engineers, and this is a common problem, they come out to another country and they've spent all these years getting their degree, and Australia goes, "Oh no, we don't recognise that. You have to be retrained."
Yeah.
Is that what you had to do, or what?
I think it's a smart way. It is.
So you
I had to convalidate everything. It is excruciating process. It is long, but I think it's done the smart way.
Why do you say that? Because to me, there's. For instance, engineering principles, they will not vary the world over. The language, maybe.
But the standards change. Standards. Okay. That's where it all comes to play. I would say, in my mind, in my opinion, standards are different.
Right.
But you're right. Science is the same. It's you study the same principles, physics, the same principles.
Lots of maths.
Lots of math and physics and math and Jesus Christ, how many calculus we saw. But the standards. So I think that's the curious thing, right? When you come here and you have to convalidate your degree, I went through Engineers Australia. We did it with, it's a long process, right? But I think
bet.
it's smartly done. You have to do essays. You have to do 3 cases in which you've used criteria that you learned as a
Oh,
civil
so you didn't
engineer.
have to go and get an Australian degree then?
No, no, no.
Oh,
Some professions, like for example, obviously like healthcare and
right.
dentists as well. They have to pretty much start over.
Ah,
Lawyers in anywhere of the world,
yeah,
right?
of course.
But yeah, with with some engineering, you actually have to prove that you're knowledgeable, that you have experience. Where have you used it? And talk about your experience. Right? How was your formation? And one of the 3 cases that I grabbed, one was my thesis, for example, that I loved, that I put so much passion and effort in that thesis, man. It was like a child. So it's using recycled concrete aggregates
Right.
for social housing projects in Venezuela.
Interesting.
So we were able to use the aggregates from concrete like it's called RCD, just concrete and demolition residues.
Yes.
And you extract the aggregates, the thin and the thick aggregates.
Yes.
The thick aggregates you can recover up to 85, 90%. Thin aggregates, you lose some because
They're so fine.
They're so fine that
yeah.
they, sorry.
They become almost
They-
like particulate floating around,
Correct.
particulate matter. Yeah.
But then you have spray that can capture all the dust. But yeah, the thing is that you can use so much from concrete to recycle.
Yep.
And then use the aggregates and particles with new cement, but you can use it for recycled concrete.
Yes, yes.
Same resistance. But you're recovering part that doesn't have to be disposed in the side of the road, in a tip or somewhere. And the actual beauty, or I guess the economic incentive, is the steel. You can recycle steel
Yes.
10,000 years,
Correct.
and that's all right. So that was my thesis, and that was one of the cases I grabbed as an essay. And then they obviously they evaluate you as a civil engineer, and you have to do like not a test, but sort of like an assessment of proficiency. You have to speak English at least level B.
And you learned English at school, did you? Or
At school, and I was lucky. My parents, they're both university professors, and my dad had a sabbatical.
Wow.
In Georgia, in the United States.
Yeah, wow.
This is where I tried their coffee.
Crappy coffee.
Yeah. I'm sorry for you as viewers. I hope there's no
It is what it is.
no love lost there, but coffee, Jesus Christ, it's a big one. Anyway, coming back to that, yeah, I learned English in school, and then I learned Southern English in Atlanta, Georgia, right?
Real? So you had a slightly
Yeah.
American accent, did
Yeah,
you?
you see the weird accent starts forming, right? You learn English in school in Venezuela, Venezuela Latino accent, and then you learn in United States Southern, y'all,
And it's funny if males learn a new language from females, they are sometimes accused of speaking that language in a slightly higher voice because they've learned from a woman, and it's quite common. So it's a really interesting one.
And coming back to Australia, right? How to convalidate the degree? The first thing is the language. You have to be proficient,
Yep,
and it
yep.
makes sense. We
Yep.
speak English here. First thing, you have to speak English well, and you have to have your IELTS or PTPs. There's 3 tests. I think the Pearson English, the test, IELTS, and another one. So when you already done the language check, which is absolutely understandable and reasonable, then you have to prove, all right, this is my degree, my university. I studied in Universidad Metropolitana, so it's a metropolitan university. Really nice. I got good memories. Obviously, one of the best times in my life at uni back then. A couple of years were dangerous. There were a lot of protests and stuff, which I don't regret participating and living that. I think it's something that I'll carry on through my life, and proud to have been there. And then look, coming here now. Okay, I've got my degree convalidated. I've got experience, everything, and then I got an Engineers Australia membership and everything. I'm all set up.
Wow.
And I'm like, all right. Now I'm looking for jobs. I'm going there. I'm learning. That was the interesting part. The first job here.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what was your first
I
job?
thought I was Group Alliance.
It was that was the actual first.
My first job as a
here
professional.
in Melbourne.
Yeah, professional. But
Wow.
before that, I did whatever job. I was a scaffolder, construction laborer. I literally concreter, and I loved it. I loved it.
It's very physical work. It's good for the body, though, isn't it?
And you know what? It made me. It was a humbling experience, to be honest. Because going there, I thought, I'm a civil engineer. I know a thing or two. Well, I didn't know anything. I didn't know how how ignorant I was compared to the laborers that had time working there.
Yep.
These guys knew way more than any civil engineer that comes fresh from university because they used to work with their hands on it.
Yep.
They know how to prop a beam, how to pour, how to put mesh, all the intricacies of it. So I learned a lot from them. And then I learned a lot about myself. I said, Jesus, when times comes and I get a job as a civil engineer, I have to prove my worth, and learn. And that was the interesting part. We started in Upper Point Cook. We had a project there, a noise barrier, UPC, Upper Point Cook, a noise wall.
This is what, for the freeway?
Correct.
Yes. Yeah.
So Princess Freeway, it is a barrier. It's 2.4 kilometers long in 3 sections, and we've got sections from 6 to 8 meter tall. So essentially, 2 posts, precast, over precast, and then aluminum sections with acrylic paneling in a nice shape and pattern. So look.
No, I'm going to ask. So, does the shape play a role in regards to the ability for it to deflect or absorb the sound?
Absolutely. And the material.
So it's not just the mass of the concrete doing it.
Is, but excellent question. Good question. How does a barrier work? You're right. When the concrete mass comes into play, it deflects if you see sound as a spectrum, you have high and low frequencies, right? So the low frequencies, how do you deflect those with mass, with concrete, with bulk, with elements
that's under 19 hertz, isn't it? 20 hertz, 19, 20 hertz. ELF.
And how do you do that? You deflect it using mass, concrete.
Right. Okay.
High frequency pitches are different. Then you need more material comes really into play in that. How do you calculate what materials to put in a noise barrier? You got to look at the highway, right? So when you have sound level meters and you take a spectrum, you do it in different points at different times of the day. That's when it comes really into play, right? Why? Because it's not the same noise in the morning with the traffic jam, everyone there, people honking, engines going, everything. And then at night, when there's no one, there's just, a few cars, people going back home or whatever. So we did 3 different timing, right? Morning, evening, and night.
Right.
And you do different measurements with sound level meters.
Yep.
And that captures the whole spectrum. From low to high frequencies.
Right. And it's not just decibels, it's the range.
But in which scale? In decibels. So decibels, you have the A scale, DCA. And that's what you take to measure against the standard environmental standards that it's very easy to it's very well defined, I would say. So there are limits that you cannot exceed at certain hours and certain times. And that's how you calculate to build. If you see a profile view of a noise barrier, you would know where the noise is generated predominantly at peak hours.
Yep.
And you know exactly what elements to put and what thickness to put. The first, I would say, the base of the noise barrier was the thickest precast. And then it got slimmer on top.
But that would be a structural thing as well, wouldn't it?
Correct.
It's not just the fact that there's more noise lower to the ground.
Correct. And for example, this is a good example, I'll say. How do the hotels here in the CBD, if you've seen, they're double glazed, right? But ask yourself one question: how does that work? Do you think it's the same thickness, the two layers of glass? It's not. The outer. Didn't know that. If you have two layers glass, right? The first one would be, I would say, what, 6 millimeters thick. And then there's a mattress of just air.
Yep.
And then there's another one, 8 millimeter. Why? Because you're spot on what you're saying. Structural vibration, it's transmitted by the element. The frequency that the first glass would moves in a certain frequency. They move in a different frequency.
Yeah.
So the noise, the sound waves transmit from one to other are different.
Yes.
And that is how you get to. That's how you get to. I would say to cut that sound wave that comes from the outside.
Interesting.
Different thickness of glass.
Right.
I'll bet anything I've got
I did
that
not
they're different
know that.
thicknesses.
And I know a little bit about glass, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the air in between works to not have physical contact between them. Because if they had direct contact, they would move the
There'd
same
be a transfer,
frequency.
and there's also issues with resonant frequency and stuff like that as well.
Correct.
Which, I mean, we can delve pretty deep if you want to. It's a really interesting area. Wow.
And this is our background from back home, noise control.
Wow. Because this is what your father was involved
correct.
in. Yeah.
He's been 45 years doing this in Venezuela. Jesus Christ, all my respect to my dad.
Wow.
Best boss I've ever had, but the toughest one.
That's good.
The toughest one. Really, right now I look back with a lot of love and nostalgia, and I said, man, thanks. And like a lot of my part as a man comes and say, hey, Dad, thank you for that.
He was a good father by this.
Amazing.
Sorry, he's a good father.
Both.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just feel lucky and say, hey, thanks, universe, for giving me the family I have. And
You're well loved by the sound of it.
Yeah.
Or is that too personal? Because you know what I mean. You meet people and you go, they're well loved. They're happy internally, and that's come from that nurturing aspect.
But I wasn't very nice at school, so I went through a few schools.
Wow, you're bad.
Well,
bad kid.
I was referred to different schools. No, I was expelled from a few schools as well.
What?
In Venezuela. I would just say, you know what? We got bored. We were just hyperkinetic kids, just full of energy.
Well, this is the thing. It isn't a natural environment to put children into, to expect them to sit in a class for 6 to 7 hours a day listening to stuff, when the reality is their bodies are going, I want to go out, I want to run, I want to get on my bike, I want to throw stones, I want to go fishing, I want to climb trees, I want to do physical stuff, which, by the way, is part of learning, because it creates neural pathways and all of that. That's quite well proven. So I'm not surprised. I know a lot of people who just...
Plus, I gotta,
come on, what are you
if I think back, I'm saying, I'm sorry, Mom, about this, but my mom and my auntie, they didn't think this through that much, so they put me and my cousin studying together. That was chaos. We did not behave well when we were together, right? We had a lot, I'm lucky my dad didn't take me out to a farm and leave me there. We were naughty kids at school, but that comes with maturity. You grow up. That's easy enough.
Turned out all right.
But talking back about my parents, sort of. Jesus Christ, things I could say not in the podcast.
No.
Off the record. But now, coming back to my parents, I guess, look, you're right. They loved us, but the good way, the education, the example they gave us. Hardworking people, very family. We love our family. For us, family is number one, biggest thing in the world. And I guess the example they gave us was, work hard, be humble, straight through yourself, believe in yourself and your God. And we're all engineers, so they were very geeky conversations back then. You can imagine.
I can imagine.
My dad is a mechanical engineer, acoustic engineer. He didn't finish chemical engineering, but this guy is on another level.
Wow.
And full respect to him. And my mom is a chemical engineer. She did also masters, PhD. They're both very qualified, and this is the thing. They started working in the university, Simon Bolivar University, USB, which is one of the best universities back home, a public university, but even recognized at a international level.
Wow.
This was fantastic university.
Wow.
Nowadays is a different reality. A lot of people left the country. That's the sad part that I'm happy to talk as well. about a third of people left my country looking for a better life. A third.
Wow, that's huge.
We were almost 30 million. 9 million have left the country. Yeah, including myself. And I think, that's the sad and concerning thing. The good thing is that I've got mates everywhere. I've got friends in all over the world, spread out, and it's amazing to see. You've got people living, in so many remote areas. But anyway, the background they gave us was really good. Was always with family, and that's something you never, wherever you go, you take it with you. That's a really. You're lucky, I think. I mean, because there's a lot of people who haven't had that, for whatever reason. I want to ask you a question. I ask my guests this same question. I always ask them, and it's very interesting, their response, right? All right.
Now, you're an engineer.
Yep.
What makes a good engineer, nature or nurture?
Oof.
I know. I reckon in your case, definitely nature. You've got genetics. You've got two engineering parents.
I want to give a good answer,
please.
Well-thought answer.
Yeah.
The ability to adapt. That's it.
But is that from nurture or nature? Did you learn that skill, or were you always like that?
No, I think nature molds you up into looking for solutions.
Yes.
Look how you adapt to a problem.
Yeah.
But what we're talking before the podcast as well, sometimes I feel that, being very basic, right? Sometimes men, we're basic. We just, we hear a problem, we see a problem, we're immediately, how do I solve this?
Yes.
What do we do? Alternatives, solutions.
But an engineer approaches even within that ability to, there's a problem, I need to solve it. They have a methodical, logical approach.
Correct.
That I understand
scientific method.
that they do get taught that. But do you think that to make a good engineer, that's already sort of in you?
No.
Oh,
no, it's not. And you know what?
Yeah,
okay, you made me think about one thing.
It's good.
We had a very, very smart professor back home, Sebastián Rivis. He mechanical fluids, right? So he made us promise to him as a class, say, hey, before you leave my class and whatever, and when you become engineers, if you become engineers, right? He was very cynical and very. He always called us school students back then, bachiller, because we weren't engineers back in uni.
But that's derogatory term.
Derogatory, but with pleasure. This is a guy who was like, you. Well, I'm an engineer, you guys are not. And we were like, damn, he's right. But he made us promise something which nowadays I say, Jesus, what a good thing to do. He said the following thing. When someone asks you something about engineering problem, don't jump and straight try to answer it. Take 1 minute, take a big breath, and then think.
Wow.
And then answer. Because a lot of the time, and he explained us really well. He said, look, sometimes you just want to prove your worth or say something valuable or whatever, and you don't even know what you're talking about. Take a deep breath.
Wise man.
Really think, and then analyze it, and then talk about it. Confronting any problem in any engineering discipline, right? Mechanical, civil, chemical, whatever. It's a methodology. You nailed it with that word. How would you approach a problem? For example, a lot of engineers are trained to see a free body diagram, which is immediately the first thing you think if you're in space and you have one element. You have this cup right here. What are the acting forces on this cup? So you have your X, Z, and X, Y, Z axis, and then you analyze what forces are coming to that structure from where. If it's a construction, well, you have the soil capacity, bearing capacity of the soil, and then you have the loads from the structure. So you try to sort of isolate the structure in your head as if it were in space and see what forces are acting on it. But the easy part of civil engineering is that everything is equal to zero because there's no movement.
I've never heard anyone say that.
But it's the truth.
Wow.
It's the truth. Buildings are not meant to move, but
they do.
They have to be flexible. Correct. I was about to say that. If you make a building very rigid, it will crack. Undoubtedly so. The stress that has to manage have to be ductile. It has to allow certain movement to dissipate the forces that come into play. For example, an earthquake.
I was just going to mention.
And I was immediately, I think Japanese.
Yeah, the same.
Jesus Christ! Like they just learned it and they mastered it. Like the seismic approach in Japanese construction is unbelievable, and I gotta give it to them. Jesus Christ, they really put the bar where it had to be. You know, I've seen some dynamic, dynamic bases for seismic resistance that they just move. They're like in a skateboard, and they allow that movement to. They allow the building to transmit the loads and dissipate them efficiently. And then, all right, you got to think way back in the day. And I really think that. Which were the best builders in history? A lot of people jump the gun and say Egyptians because of the pyramids.
Well, I tell you what, some of the amazing structures that they've uncovered in South America have really defied a lot of earthquake activity there, and obviously all the way through Mexico. So you're talking about the ancient Mayan, Inca, Aztecs, Olmecs. There's some amazing structures. There's the one I'm thinking of, the famous one in the Andes.
Machu Picchu.
Yes, and there's a few like that. Have you been?
I haven't been there.
Neither have I, and I want to go too. We are talking about massive blocks put together. You can't even put your fingernail in the mortar joint.
With what technology they had?
This is a Joe Rogan podcast that we should have one because I'm right into all of that. No, it's they engineered things in such a way that have survived thousands of years, hundreds of years, thousands, whereas in Australia, the average suburban house is lucky to get 60, 70 years.
If you're lucky.
Because we build shit houses in Australia, for anyone listening. We do. On a world stage, we do. I'm digressing. But brick veneer in Australia is strange. If you want, you should actually make a reverse brick veneer from a thermal mass insulative approach. And like, they're stick houses. We have a lot of builders coming from Europe going, my God, we have triple glazing. You hardly even have double glazing on your houses.
Yep. But if we go down to construction, we can. The similarity with coffee in US, I can run through a house in the United States. It's like paper mache.
Well, even worse in Australia. Sorry, I'm going to stop scanning Australian building because there is some nice buildings.
No, but also architecture in Melbourne is fascinating. But I wasn't even going to talk about the Mayas or Aztecs or anything. I was going to talk about the Romans.
You're right. God. The aqueducts, the Colosseum.
Not only that. I reckon the raw power and intelligence they put into it was frightening. Why? Their soldiers, Roman soldiers, were half soldier, half builder. Imagine the capability they had, that sometimes when they were sieging a city, they built a wall around the city and then another wall to surround the inner wall. Nothing gets in, nothing gets out. So they would starve a whole city just to invade it. And then they would be like, the balls you have to say, you know what, I'm just going to build a wall around this city and then a wall around that city.
Well, it's not only the balls, you're right, it's the
determination.
It's the manpower, or I'll say personnel power, and the determination and the skills.
But the concrete that they used it's still being studied. And a key element there comes into play, and it all goes back to the original question, if you're a good engineer or not. These guys were probably one of the best engineers in history. They approach concrete a different way. They use volcanic ashes into their mix.
As long as they don't use fly ash, because you've heard the latest about fly ash. But anyway, they use volcanic ash
in the mix, which was unbelievably smart to do. It's still hardening. Roman concrete, it's still hardening today. It doesn't. It is.
So it's an ongoing process. Wow.
They hit the key unbelievably. So in construction, Roman concrete is one of those things that
because of the volcanic ash.
I would say so. Yeah, the limestone that they used and the volcanic ash and the reaction that it comes to play. Concrete. When you put all the concrete elements up, it's an exothermal reaction, right? It generates heat.
Yep.
And all right, water, cement, thin aggregate, limestone, and ash. All of that comes into play. That's so interesting, mate. Like we could talk. Sorry, another podcast only about Roman concrete. But then you have to figure out, all right, what did they do with it? Yes, the aqueducts, everything, and just how their focus was outstanding. Clearly thinking outside the box by miles. And there you go, have it. Roman concrete. Egyptian, yes. Egyptian back in that time, right? We're talking about 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, right?
If indeed the Egyptians did build the pyramids, but
Yes.
that's another podcast.
This is another podcast as well. Was it the ovnis, aliens, or whatever? I'm obsessed a little bit by that, and I've read books about Imhotep, which was one of their lead engineers, Egyptians. And a lot of people say, yeah, it's impossible that humans built it. It had to be ovnis. How do you carry blocks that size? I say, yes, through logics, through engineering, through figuring it out.
The problem is with some of those really big blocks, even with today's super duper cranes,
they would struggle with it.
They can't.
But they had huge manpower as well.
Yeah, look, we'll park this one because it's interesting. I've got some interesting theories, and this is an area of interest of mine. That is effectively when I take my Greenwood hat off, which I have to sort of keep semi-firmly on for the podcast. But it's fascinating because there's a common belief that people were not as smart back then. I actually think the other way. They were just as smart, if not more. As we said, they've got buildings still existing today, and we struggle to have buildings last 60, 70 years.
Absolutely.
And if you go into any European city, go even into Melbourne, you'll see some amazing buildings. The churches, how the heck did they cut?
Architecture.
How do they cut that basalt so cleanly?
Which is it's a big
It's
problem.
one of the hardest rocks out there, isn't it? It's really limestone, little easy, sandstone, but the basalts, we know.
Even with solar farms here, when you're ramming piles, you can get
You hit a basalt floater.
and then you get rejection. You get piles rejection because basalt.
It's hard.
Exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
I got to ask, Andres, how does a civil engineer end up at a rail company, Clenergy? How did that all come about?
Wow, excellent question. I
try to ask the good questions.
So perfect, good background. Now engineering. Now I had my degree validated.
Yep.
So I had my first 2 jobs here in Australia. I was Group Alliance, and then at Hard Civil. Mm-hmm. And then I had the friend that told me to come to Melbourne, Stella. Really good friend, love her. And then she said to me, you know what? I'm working in this company, Clenergy, and I'm the first engineer there, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, that's fantastic. What do you guys do? Well, racking, pretty much, right? And it's very interesting, the work we do. Well, we're trying to hire another engineer. So if you're interested in an internship, you come by. I said, all right, I'll have a look. I went there.
Did you know anything about racking before?
Nothing. I had no idea about solar, honestly. In all honesty, never worked in solar. I worked in noise control, construction, and then solar. I said, all right, that's fascinating. I wanted to get into renewables, and I wanted to get into energy, renewables. And solar was always attractive. Don't ask me why or anything. I just was driven by it, and I thought, all right, it's interesting. I want to see. So I met Vince Mobilio, who I admire, I respect, and honestly, what a gentleman. He did my interview. I didn't know he was a regional manager and very, very high-level executive in Clenergy. It just felt like an uncle talking to me. And honestly, and what an awesome guy, man. Like, I look up to him, and a lot of our people in our team are like that. That's another thing. We'll get there and when we talk. Because Clenergy is the people, right? The people. After the interview, he said, all right, well, you know what? It was a Friday, midday, something like that. He said, well, you can start on Monday. I said, I have nothing else to do today. Can I stick around? And they had lunch in a Yomcha restaurant.
Wow.
The whole team. And from the interview, I just stuck there. I'm like,
you said
"No,
the
man,
food's good, I'm in.
yeah, I like to eat. What are you guys doing? Well, we go to a restaurant. You want to come in? I said, yeah, all right, let's go. And from the get going, you could feel the environment, the people. It was a good atmosphere, good environment, and very interesting industry and company and timing. But then I started as an intern, right? For a month and a half, I did my internship, which was really good because I was able to go from zero to, all right, this is what we do in about a month and a half. And then they decided to take me on board, full permanent. I said, yes, engineering team. And then I started as a civil engineer in the engineering department, which was really good. It opened my eyes to seeing the racking world, the solar world. What did we do? All right, we had different rails, so we had to figure out sometimes. All right, first thing is the pressure, the wind pressure on the panel, which depends on the location and height and a bunch of factors that come into play. But how do you calculate the pressure in the panel?
Can I ask, is civil and structural?
Correct.
They're not the same. But
they're not the same.
They're pretty close to each other,
yes,
aren't they?
Correct. So civil engineering, I think it integrates more roadworks, tunnels, bridges, waterworks, movement. Structural is just structure on like the mechanical parts of works.
But with the rail, is it structural or is it civil? Or is it?
It's both. I
It
would
is
say.
both, isn't it?
Yeah. Because, but in all honesty, it's more structural than anything.
Right.
Because what do? You have we had tables to calculate, and we worked our asses off to make sure that it was as accurate as possible to calculate the pressure on the panel. But once you have the pressure, then you got to look at it. What's a solar system installed? It's a substructure mounted on top of a structure. So you have two structures come into play.
And it's mounted on a structure that was never originally designed to hold solar panels.
Excess weight, and that's the thing. What is more interesting is, and this is when I love to say our true heroes in Clenergy are our engineers. Our engineers. I'm not kidding. This is where it gets to it. Because you cannot be over-dimensioning or under-dimensioning. You need to be right there as accurate as possible. And then what do? All right, you have a pressure on the panel. And you have the location of the structure and the height and everything. So how do you do to calculate the loads that will dissipate onto another structure? And you need to guarantee that those panels are not going to fly away from there.
As well as the actual weight of the panel.
Correct.
It's that ability to fly off the roof.
Correct.
And maybe take the roof sheet with it if it's not tied down properly.
Which I'll talk about that later because it's fascinating how we test sometimes our interfaces.
Yes.
Really funny story happened there because our non-penetrative interfaces, they're clamps.
Yep.
The facility we approach, MTS, Melbourne Testing Services, they're independent, NATA, very prepared people. They're amazing how they do it. And when we tested it, the first thing that failed were the clips that hold the roofing sheets, not the interfaces.
This is the thing. Weakest link in the chain or Blackman's law of limiting factors, the thing in least supply, this is the thing that's going to break.
Correct.
Or impede development. And it's because you can be the strongest clamp, everything, but if the screw holding the clip
if you're attaching
into the crappy little thin pearl and is crap.
Correct.
Wow.
And okay, then all right, once you've got all that information into play, you need to design a system. So what the first thing that comes into play? The rails, the support. Which rail are you going to pick? You evaluate essentially three things, right? But
when you say which rail
from our range, from the
Clenergy, because obviously there's competitors out there, but we're talking Clenergy. But are we talking? So
our rails, we had two systems, right?
Yeah,
solar roof, ground mounts. Yep. Pretty much.
In
solar roof, we have a broad range of products and items.
Well, let's talk commercial because that's what Greenwood are involved with. And
I want to pick your brain as well. This is not only about me. Good twist on the podcast.
Let's see.
No, in all honesty, I saw a project that you guys did, the 578 kilowatt in Dandenong South. Commercial.
Yes.
And you used Clenergy. Well, you guys used Clenergy.
Yes.
And another brand. I'm not one of those who trashes competitors or name names or anything like that. I try to be elegant and classy in that way. But in all honesty, I have to thank competitors here because they've grown, they've gotten better, and they've made ourselves look like, hey, we gotta get better, we gotta step up, we gotta, So in some way, our CEO said something that really clicked and made us think, and said, behind a very good company, there's a very good competitor. Because it just pushes you to be better. We don't want to be the best. We want to be better every day. We want to learn that Kaizen mentality, 1% better every day.
Yeah.
And we applied it. And I think it's a good question you were saying before. Look, what makes Clenergy? The people, the product, but not only people and product, partners. 3 Ps, right? Maybe I'm coining something here. People, product, and partnerships. We love to say our products are built to last, which they are. Highest quality, I believe. But our products are built to last, such as our partnerships, such as the relationships. This is our focus. Our business partners for us are key in actually giving value to the industry. And not only selling some gear because it's a good price or it's good quality. We really believe in partnership. This is what, and in
education is important too, because you could have the best quality product with the best marketing and the best price. But if your partners are using that rail and not installing it correctly as it's supposed to be, that becomes the weak point. And it's a really big thing, isn't it?
And also because we put it back to us and say, how do you communicate it to the industry? For example, when you get new products, right? Comes back to the commercial job you guys were using. Because you had a corrugated roof, which the rails were parallel to the corrugation of the roof.
Yeah, so running perpendicular to the purlin.
Correct.
Yep.
And in that project, don't know how far ago it was, but we've got new products right now. For example, the Easy Click. And the Easy Click, the way it goes, our rails, if you've seen the set bolts, the set nuts, how you integrate the rail with the interface to the roof. There's a roof, you have an interface, penetrative or non-penetrative, and then the rail connection. That connection between interface and rail, we had a Z bolt before. It was the bread and butter, right? But then we started making new products that actually aimed at saving speed, installation time.
That is a
with
big
the same
thing.
quality.
It's a
big thing. But without sacrificing the integrity of the system or the quality. That's the thing. That you want to be a fast installation at a good price, but also keeping in mind you cannot by any chance quality
it has to be maintained, yes.
Correct. And this is where I like to talk about us in that way. And I'm a Clenergian, mate. I firmly believe that.
What did you say?
Clenergian. Like Spartan, Clenergian, We really believe in that. We live by that, and you can see it when for example, you were there last year in the All Energy.
Yeah, you guys are passionate.
We're passionate workaholics. We're driven. We're really intense, I would say, in the good way. So that makes us Clenergians, which is a good one. I always like to say that, but.
How do you ensure that the product is installed correctly? Because your business model, obviously, you're not going like one of your competitors goes direct to the end user, right?
Yep.
And that's their business model. Your business model, you go through wholesalers, and the wholesalers are going to the end user, a la like Greenwood, and eventually we're all stakeholders and partners. So how do you ensure that end user is installing your product correctly?
That's the beauty of it all. We don't only work with our wholesalers, with distributors and our partners, but we do a lot of work with installers as well. And I have a lot of respect for a solar training center here in Australia. Steve Kostov, massive shout out to him. Like amazing what he's done, what the whole team have done. You know, they've graduated more than 10,000 installers in Australia. And they have 3 centers in Australia. I think the first one was Adelaide.
I'd like to get that database.
Yeah, there you go. But in all honesty, they are the real heroes. They are the guys who install our gear, you know, and 100% you're right. How you ensure to give good, valuable information that they can use, that is simple, that is easy, straightforward to access. We try everything. We have, obviously, our website. You can download all the installation guides, manuals, brochures, but we also have small videos. We try to make it as straightforward as possible. How you install for every type of system we have a setup video with nice music and surround. It can also be nice, why not? But it goes to show what we try to do as a company to educate the installer. The most important thing is that when an installer signs on a system, he needs to feel that he did the right thing, quality and peace of mind. When he goes back to sleep and say, I trust what I did was right, I did it in the right way. This is for us the biggest thing, safety and quality. And you know what? I'm proud of us. I'm proud of Australia as that in that matter. We were born here. We are an Australian company. 18 years ago, we started in Clayton, in here in Melbourne. We're an Australian company, and we love that. And for 18 years, we've been there. Not to mention any other companies, right? But there are some companies that have bankrupted or folded once, twice. You know, I sometimes feel bad that they could leave some people with financial strains and problems and issues, and it doesn't give you that sense of reliability because it could feel that I'm saying, okay, I'm promoting Clenergy because I work at Clenergy. No, in this case, imagine that I don't work at Clenergy, but I'm trying to pick any company in specific. I would look at their track record and say, all right, where were they founded? How long they've been in the country? What have they done? And that Clenergy has an impeccable track record. 18 years, and we keep going, and we're hungry to be better, not the best, but better. And look, our failure rate, Veli, this is open information out there. Anything that any of you can get and really double check for me. Don't just believe me. Do your thing. Our failure rate is 0.0018%. 0.0018%. This for us is like a...
Because there's a lot of rail out there. There's a lot of Clenergy rail out there.
And look, for us, it's humbling and it's a good, we like awards, Sunways Awards, awesome. Good job on them as well. What they do for the industry is great. But more than that, 1 in every 2 systems is a Clenergy system in Australia.
Wow.
And I recently was in a conference and I met an installer.
Really? 50%?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And look, one of the fun and one of those parts that you feel great that day and then you're proud of your company and then you love the conversation. This installer told me, said, mate, I installed the first system 15 years ago at my mom's house.
Wow.
And it's a Clenergy system. It's still there. And we were laughing there, talking about the panels. There was like, less than 200 watt panels. Can you imagine it? And just the
I remember them. Yeah, I remember them. Yeah.
And this guy came and said, thank you guys. I trust Clenergy. I've used it. I love the quality. I love that, it's a simple product. It's good. But then, these are the sort of feedback that you take at heart and you say, yes. And that makes you want to always try to improve. But feedback for us is essential. It's really what we focus installers.
It's how else you know if your product's going well, etc. And let's face it, the people actually installing the stuff. It's like the concreters. They know more than the engineers in a lot of cases.
Than the salespeople, than the tech installers. And this is why we take that very seriously, and we always ask. And that's why we want to work closer with installers and help support them. Because, it's funny enough, competition, Look, we were the whole year. It's been a challenging year, right? For everyone in the industry right now. And, now with the battery rebate, it's so much good pressure in the good way, because there's a lot going into solar. But funny enough, we heard a lot this year, without naming names. I'm not going to go down that path. But there were a lot of companies saying, oh, we're faster, we're cheaper, we're stronger, we're faster and cheaper, faster and cheaper, faster and cheaper. It made us think and said, is it? So we did our own, we took matters into our own arms. And this is coming soon.
I'm very interested in this, and the reason why is because I teach in the live training commercial solar design on a 1 megawatt system how people can analyse different systems, because it's not only about the initial cost, it's the speed of the actual install and the span and all those things tempered by the reality of the roof they're on. Yeah. Because I'm really interested in this.
Well, then stay tuned. That's all I can say.
Right.
With the best intention here. Don't be fooled. Please don't be fooled. We took matters into our own hands. And we did one thing. We asked the Solar Training Center, Steve Kostoff and team, and Nigel Morris to prepare something for us. We wanted to do a Pepsi challenge.
Yeah, right. Apples versus apples.
But using our apples. Because it's easy. It's easy when you compare your best product. If I have my competitor here and they're using my slowest gear, and they're using their best gear, it's not fair.
No, that's apples and oranges. That's
exactly.
Not fair. No.
So we compared apples for apples.
Yes.
We were shocked by the results. We didn't. We provided all our gear, but the commercial CNI products. We provided all our gear and 2 other brands, the 3 most used brands in the country.
Yep, I know what they are.
And 3 different installer crews, 3 different roof sheets, 3 different brands, and we asked them, please install as fast as you can, but do it safely, right? But try to go as fast as you can and use the 3 different gears and 3 different brands, everything.
How big were the systems, just out of interest?
Small. I would just say... less than 10 kilowatt system, just a small.
Okay, but like they were substantial.
Same space,
yeah, okay.
Same space. Oh, three installation teams, which we had no control with. We never talked to these people. We didn't pay them. We didn't coerce them in any way to favor any brand over any. We didn't, because we wanted to know.
Yeah, for sure.
We really wanted to know. Okay, it's easy to say we're faster and cheaper. No, I'm sorry. All 3 cases, Clenergy came out the faster to install using our new Easy Click modules, our pre-assembled interfaces, and we were humbled by the results. We were shocked because we thought, okay, there is do your own research. This is what I tell to the audience. Don't be fooled. Do your own research. Ask the biggest brands that have been here, the biggest wholesalers. And when you see it in a video, which our marketing team has never been happier to work on a campaign.
I bet.
Because yes, of course, we were the fastest one, and it made us feel, you know what, we need to get this out there and have people just do their own conclusions.
Because the ramifications for other parts of, and let's talk about a big system, 1 megawatt. So if you're spending less time installing the rail, right, that means, 1, you're less time
saving
on the
money,
roof.
Less time.
Well, you're saving you're saving money.
Saving money, definitely.
You're less time on the roof, but that also translates to OH&S. That also translates to the hire of site sheds, toilets, EWPs, and all those other things that people, if they don't do a proper analysis, they go, we're saving time on the roof, installation, the projects. No, you're saving a crap load more in other areas.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to teach people to go, hang on, this has a carryover effect, because being on a roof, it's a harsh environment. It isn't like being on the ground, especially here, 13, 14 metres off the ground, installing panels, flat FTR, flat to the roof. It's hard yakka, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to
kill. It's not an easy job.
It's not an easy job.
And again, it all goes back to installer, how much we respect them, how much we know their work is not an easy one.
Yeah.
So this is our thing, how to help them. And honestly, this was the best. This is another thing I want to pick your brain about, that project, the 578.
Well, I don't know which one. I'm trying to work out which one it was.
South. But in the video, which I saw, I think 2 days ago,
hang on. Was this on a shopping centre?
You said it could take 4 to 5 or 6 days or something like that, but you took between 4 and 6 days to install it. And you did cable trays and.
Well, I was in the video.
Got the video. I've got the video.
That shows you what old age does. I can't remember where.
No.
I think it might have been.
I can show you just a screenshot because I'm not going to play the video, but I literally liked it. Did
it have different
commercial solar at its finest? 528 kilowatt rooftop project breakdown. Greenwood Solutions. The down there on South. Not sure if it was. It's a commercial site.
Yeah, there was a commercial site. I got sunburnt really badly that day.
Well,
I remember that.
Again, when we're talking about the install, because you're on top of a roof, it's a harsh environment.
It is.
You want to install fast.
Damn right you do.
But you want to install a quality product.
Absolutely.
And have peace of mind, reliability, that you did the right thing, that you had the right tools, the right gear, and you feel that you did good in less time than you would have taken. So absolutely,
really,
you gotta.
This is really important stuff because, again, on this, if you start looking and going, that rail costs more than that rail, that means I'll use the cheaper rail. No, you haven't taken everything into consideration.
Correct.
You got it, and that installation, it's massive, even to the point where do I have to spend time assembling the feet as opposed to something that's pre-assembled, or the other option is it's you have to assemble it, but it's half the time to assemble. This stuff takes time.
And to be honest, not only that, we looked into detail. A small change that we did that actually played for the environment: biodegradable bags. If you're installing something and you need some cable clips for panels, right? We put more cable clips in the same bag, and the bag is biodegradable
That's
plastic.
really good to hear.
If it flies away in 2 days, as soon as it hits water, it'll just disintegrate.
That quick?
Yep.
Jeez.
About 2-3 days, to be honest.
Wow.
And this is one thing that we also looked into it and say, you know what? Yeah, feedback, detail. Some installers told us, can the packaging, you could work a little bit better around it, less waste.
Yes.
Easy.
Because on the big job, there's a lot of stuff at the end, and it takes time and money to get it back off the roof.
Absolutely. So not only pre-assembled and trying to make it easy for the installers, make it easy for the environment as well. Like if you've got plastic flying around the roof, you'll be like, you know what, let it go. In 2-3 days, that's dissolved. That's all right.
Yeah, you got to be careful obviously with your stakeholders who are not just the business owner, but the people next door. Look, I wanted to move on to the fact that, and you've seen it, you've been in the industry for a while, the panels are getting bigger. Right? What has Clenergy done to address that? Because in some scenarios, when if you are, God forbid, installing close to the gutter, you're in a different zone. In some cases, you have to use 3 rail.
Yep.
In some cases, maybe even more if you're right on the edge. The panels are getting bigger. What are you doing? What's Clenergy?
I hope this message gets out there to the panel manufacturers. Please don't make them bigger. Please don't make the panels bigger.
I agree.
It doesn't work that way.
Not on roof mount. Maybe ground mount. Yep. It's different because you can. It's different. You're on Mother Earth, and they're different structures. Someone has to
install it. Someone has to grab that panel and strap it somewhere.
But they're automating a lot of the.
You've got robots.
Ground mount, but not on the roof.
Not on the roof. Not on the roof. Yeah, you got panel lifters. You've got some equipment.
But it's actually positioning the panel,
by hand.
And to the point where and I've done the analysis. Those big panels will at 31, 32 kilo. It's a 2-person lift, so suddenly the cost to get that panel to there doubles.
Well, and you know what?
But it's also the rails aspect.
Yeah, and in all honesty, look, panel manufacturers have also helped a little bit. Like for example, talking about Thomas, who was here.
Yes.
Awesome guy.
Yeah, he is.
Respect to that guy. Their panels, ICO, has been working on panels that are 8 kilos, 9 kilos.
Yes. They have
These helps.
Like a perspex instead of glass, yes.
Specs, the mechanical specs, same. Weight is 3 times less?
I know.
Something like that.
I know.
Mate,
that's exciting.
Help.
That's exciting.
Correct. And then you don't sacrifice the panel power. It's the same wattage, same specs, more efficient. So I think technology in what we're talking about, panel sizes.
Yeah.
Technology cannot just the technology needs to improve a little bit. The efficiency of the cells and the wafers and the way it needs to evolve has to be driven and has to aim at that. Not making the panels bigger, just making them more efficient.
The problem is with the big panels too is that they can belly.
Oh yeah,
And then you're going, I need and they need a third
Yeah.
rail, and you go, hang on, I don't want to spend that much on a rail.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because you're trying to reduce your project costs because people are doing this because they want to make money. And if I can save a few $1,000s here, still maintaining the structural integrity and the safety. I want to delve into a little bit more technical,
Yeah,
right?
let's go.
What's, because I've had a very interesting conversation with Sana from Gamcorp.
Okay, yeah.
About, and this may have changed since we had him on the podcast, off-purlin
Yeah, okay.
feet, right?
Nice.
Because if you're running, let's say if you're running the rail parallel to the purlin, then fantastic. You got purlin everywhere,
What's
right?
if it's perpendicular?
But if you're perpendicular,
Yep.
then
Purlins. You're limited by the purlin spacing.
Absolutely.
'Cause you in the past had to anchor directly to purlins.
well, this is the thing.
Well, now we have products that allow you to install off purlin, and you can use all the space on the roof. And also, coming back to the other question, the 3 and 4 rails per panel, not anymore. We're only a 2-rail solution now.
Even on the big panels.
Yes, and on edge zones and the way we did it with our engineering.
How? What
Well-
more frequent feet?
Correct.
Yeah, right.
Correct,
of
correct.
course.
Because you have to sacrifice one thing for other.
course
There's
you
no
do.
magic
No,
solution.
that's-
So you put more feet, but you don't have to do 3, 4 rails, right? So that it goes down to, look, you want definitely spot on. Good topic. Off purlin installation, right? This is where we have our products and our range come into play and say, yeah, we've got different interfaces for it. We've recently launched a few strictly called off purlin interfaces, right? And also corrugated adapter and bridges.
right.
Interesting thing, some trapezoidal roofs as well, roof shapes.
Yes.
Right?
they vary.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
But even going, and also tile, this is what I'm saying. You know how many tile feet we've got? We've got almost 30 different tile feet. And that's when we offer that sort of product and that support that literally gives you a solution for every type of project. And that's where we are really humbled and proud of our products. And that's when their engineers come into play, who designed that product to be efficient and not calculating it, so you can have a product that, at a right price, guarantees the right structural adequacy of it. And our warranty is 25 years.
Yeah.
So we have to have products that endure the whole time.
And you're aware, obviously, that it's not only about the rail, because there's a relationship between the panels, the cable of the panels, where does the cable go, what does it go in. So
And the cable trays.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's this intrinsic relationship between all of them.
Which are fantastic as well. Again, not because I work in Clenergy, because I know our products very well. A lot of people just associate Clenergy with racking. Racking.
Yep.
Yes, we're not. This is our core. Correct. But we also do cable trays. And I know Mick was here talking about cable trays. Jesus Christ. The coating on the cable tray. I've learned a lot about it. It's magnesium, aluminum, and zinc. And the zinc in the alloy creates a self-annealing barrier. So when you make a cut in the cable tray, you don't have to spray galvanizer.
I always laugh, though, because when people call it self-healing, I think of some hippie in Byron Bay going, yeah, I'm self-healing, which is not a bad thing, but it's just like, it sort of conjures up a funny image, but it actually does.
It's self-annealing. So I'm not deep down.
Yeah, I understand.
Like chemist, or I cannot go down that level of detail. But the zinc in the coating is what creates sort of like a red barrier, like a red forming on the edges,
right?
And it conceals the metal there, so it doesn't allow it to rust,
right?
Pretty much. So the fun thing to say is just. Leave the can in the van. You don't need to spray galvanize it.
Because
that
has ramifications as well. Number one, you don't need the MSD, the material safety data sheet, because you're not spraying. Number two, you're spraying a bloody roof. That stuff goes everywhere, right?
Good
and it
point.
could go onto HVAC or whatever. Number three, probably which should have been number one, who wants to inhale those toxic,
No one.
volatile organic compounds that are in a spray?
Correct.
So
And
I think that's a really big thing.
that's one advantage for cable trays. The second, I would say,
No, there's three.
well, a few,
Yeah.
You're right. 3 advantages, but funny thing is that again, we're talking now cable trays, right? Not racking. In cable tray world, we also don't want to talk about competitors and name any names or anything, but a lot of people used stickers, and they peel, peel off, they fade. We're in Australia, mate. Like the weather here is tough.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So our lids in the cable trays come pre-stamped.
Yeah, that's a
say warning DC solar.
Fantastic idea.
That will outlast religion. It will not peel off. It will not fade.
Yeah.
That's there
Until the aliens come.
or AI takes over. I don't know. I'm a bit of a Matrix fan, so I've got the
No,
dystopian. And look at AI, right? But that's another podcast.
No, it is another podcast.
See, this
That's
is why
a really
I called
good
you
point.
the Joe Rogan of solar.
Look, I enjoy talking about a range of subjects, and with some guests, and I'm including you in this list, you can talk on a wide range of stuff. Really interesting. But I do love the idea that it is that is just, it makes so much sense, right? It really does.
No stickers, no, and yeah. But also price-wise is very competitive. It is accessible. Even we did a thorough analysis, right, on product range, price, and also what different. I would say the menu, right? All the different trays: 150, 300, 450, 600, pick lead, flat lead, this and that. It is a very good product in that when you combine all those items together. But yeah, I would just say also ease of installation, good support, and our warranty. We have a good warranty. Our warranty is 5 years. A lot of the standard ones, 2-3 year warranty.
Yeah, wow.
And we did a salt spray test. 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000 hours of salt spray.
Wow.
When we saw the comparison, and again, classy, just talking about.
And what are you comparing to Hot Dip, Gal?
Yep, and different brands.
Yeah, okay.
And we have a white paper on that.
Wow.
So part of the installation manuals or brochures or pack, in one of them, there comes a salt spray test with images that obviously look a little bit dramatic.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course. It's a marketing thing. Yeah,
But this is the thing you want to see when you're installing next to a shore in a very corrosive environment. You want to know, hey, what happens with this spray once it's been 3,000 hours salt spray?
Yeah.
What am I partnering up with? What am I using in my project? And, that is the integrity of an installer, knowing that they installed correctly at the right time and, they took reasonable time. But, yeah, you want it to be as minimal as possible without sacrificing any quality of it. So it is important. Yeah.
Do you, if there's a big project, do you offer a custom length rail? Is that something that, because...
Good question.
And the reason I ask is we used
rail
to...
lengths.
Yeah,
It's
rail
always a
lengths.
headache.
And if you can... if you're really, really, really smart, you can almost design a system where you're not doing any cuts at all, and which is nirvana. But I mean, obviously with panels getting wider, and
it's always the question. Since I started in racking, it's like, what rail length? What's is it 4.2, 4.6, 4.8? Is it 3.6? Does it come in black? Is it silver? Is it no finish? So we gotta as a manufacturer, you gotta sometimes stop and say, well, what am I gonna order?
I know.
What am I gonna stock?
Of course.
What am I gonna have available? What is the trend picking up? So yeah, very good question. 4.6, 4.7, 4.8. I would say 4.7 and 4.6 are the rail lengths that predominantly are being used. That goes to panels, right?
Yeah.
How many panel width?
yes.
Has sort of standardized
It's
at
all
1,
about
3,
the
4.
width of the panel. This
Correct,
is the thing.
correct. Because people want to install portrait, right? Less rail per area per panel. And yeah, it goes to show like...
Well, they sort of install it in on the commercial, in most cases, running from the peak down to the gutter in a landscape configuration, but the actual rails, if you turn around, it's poor. You know what I mean?
Portrait and landscape.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And, there's never a winning combination. There's never this is the length we're going to manufacture. We can manufacture rails up to 6 meters. The problem is, how are you going to transport that?
Well, this is an issue, isn't it? It's a logistics thing, and it's a handling thing as well. If you're craning your equipment onto a roof, including panels, you're going, I can crane for 4.6, 4.7, but 6 metre, that enters a bit of... There's a lot of things to think about there.
And also the finish of the rail, whether it be silver anodized, black anodized, or mill finished, it provides different benefits or different pros and cons.
Yeah, right.
But also the rail profile. So we launched our Elite Rail about 2 or 3 years ago. And before that, we had the Eco Rail. Eco Rail went for a long time. It was the I would say the go-to rail.
I've got a few at home that I use as straight edges for doing woodwork. They're really nice. So
I use it.
You know what I mean?
In my desk, I have a little bit of off-cut of Eco Rail. That's my card holder.
They work well like that, don't they?
But also the black anodized rails, right? And I gotta admit this, right? Black panels, black roof sheets, black racking, it looks sexy.
It's very sexy.
It is pleasing. It is aesthetically pleasing to look.
But on a commercial job, they're not going to spend the extra money on a black rail.
You want to be the most
premium,
economical.
domestic, beautiful with a black panel, a black frame panel, and black rail.
Yeah,
it does look nice.
But also, funny thing, right? Like worldwide, right? Every region is so different to each other. And then I've had the privilege and lucky that I've worked in different countries, right? We started in Australia and then New Zealand, and then we did a lot of work in America. But for example, Australia and New Zealand, right? The reverse thing happened at the same time. When we had the black anodized premium rail, correct, what you're saying, residential, if you have a brand new roof, black roof, come on, it can look nice.
Absolutely.
Go for it. But the thing is that in the industry, you have resi, CNI, and utilities.
Yes.
So every segment is each to their own, and every region is it's unique.
True.
So here, to give you a proportion, 30% was black anodized, 70% silver or mill finish.
Yeah, right.
In New Zealand was the opposite. 70% they preferred black anodized premium, and it was 30% silver.
Why, is that because they're a rugby team called the All Blacks?
Mate, we had so much fun with that because at some point, and
that's really interesting.
Even we were trying to work with them to have a production or something.
Why was that? Why?
You didn't. No idea. It's just the market. It's each so unique, and I think it's also a preference as well in New Zealand. But yeah, funny thing, like we were baffled with it. We said, "What? Well, all right," but then. You gotta support locals. This is our biggest message here. And again, Australian company, proud to be here, proudly born here. But for example, in Canada, you're gonna laugh at this one, so leave room for that. You know how installers in Canada test if the rail is rightly installed?
I don't know. They jump on top of it.
They jump on it.
Just gonna say.
And there are some big Canadians, mate.
Those
They
big
love the
lumberjack
Canadian bacon.
120 kilos.
My God, I met this guy who said to me, "Well, when I was jumping in your rail, and I kept listening, but I'm like, sorry, mate, can you go back again? Why were you jumping on top of the rail? This is how we test it in Canada." And I said, Jesus Christ, mate, with all due respect, I'm 111 kilos. This guy was easily 150, 160.
Yeah, wow.
Big boy, right?
Yeah,
then I'm like, well, when I jump on that rail, I'm like, it's not meant for jumping on top of a roof, on top of... So, but this is Canada-wise, right?
Wow.
And now, 3 years later, we're manufacturing rails in Canada, which was... honestly, one of our biggest achievements.
And there must be double thickness for those Canadians to jump on.
No, but
wow.
In a way, we partner up with a company that they have manufacturing facilities in US and in Canada, right? So it actually helped us. We were working on this almost 2.5 years ago. We started with that. And we didn't know the whole effect about politics when it comes into, and you should do a podcast about it, politics and solar, right? How much does it, impacts it? Because, for example, Trump and the tariffs and all this nonsense and stuff. And it ignited the Canada feeling of Canadian made.
Yeah,
They were
right.
like, you know what? All right, up yours, mate.
Yeah,
We're gonna,
fair enough.
what? Canada made. And we were making rails from 2 years before we started it. So we
Wow.
had available Canadian-made rails. Now all the competitors, guess what they do?
Canadian-made, of course.
rails.
Yeah.
But we were lucky, not to say arrogant or whatever, because it's not that we had the foresight to think, oh, this is going to... No, we wanted to support locals, as we do in every region that we are. But that played well for us because we
Wow.
could manufacture in US or in Canada. And then, we had development there with one of our biggest partners worldwide. And it was fantastic to see how Canadians from pretty much, very recently till today are like, let's support locals, Canadian made, That's politics, and that's politics
Yeah.
when it comes into play with solar. A lot of people don't really realize the intricacies of it and how it can come to play to either create an adversity or a benefit.
I'd like to talk about thermal expansion.
All right.
What's the recommended maximum length,
Yep.
unbroken length of the Clenergy rail, or the Clenergy rail, let's say commercial rail?
Depend on the splice that you use.
Oh.
Yeah. But also, look,
I've always
it's a
thought
good
after
point.
20 metres, or, you don't push it past 20
you,
metres.
You try not to. Because
Yeah.
think of it as, okay, you got a piece of rail installed on your roof,
Yep.
right? When it's hot, it will expand. When it's cold, it will
Contract, that's right.
That's thermal expansion.
Thermal coefficient of expansion, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the simple way, in a nutshell, right, to put it out there and not get down to the
Yeah.
extreme technical, boring aspects, you gotta leave room. In the splice, the joiner, the rail joiner, has to account for that movement of actual compression and expansion.
Right.
But interestingly enough, we also thought, let's make it faster as well.
Yes.
So we have an easy click splice now.
Yeah, I like that.
No tools.
Yeah,
No
it's-
bolts. No nuts.
Yeah.
Again, that installer on top of a roof.
Yeah.
Just clicking it in.
Yeah.
And that will stay there.
That's amazing.
But that also allows movement from rails connected.
Right.
And another thing to add, complication to it, you also have to transmit conduct electricity. It has
Well,
to
this
be
is from
earth.
the earthing perspective.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't realize how important it is to have a system well earthed, well grounded, properly secured to a structure. Because look, you got to figure out that system is going to be on top of a roof, on top of a family, and that is what you want.
Or 200 workers in an industrial scenario.
Correct. CNI. And when you tally that and you add that into the mix, that is also safety, and that is when you need good elements, good quality, well connected, well designed, but also has to conduct electricity and allow for movement on the rails and maintaining that for 25 years or more, because we aim for way more than 25 years.
Absolutely.
But as a minimum, has to be there 25 years, which makes sense. If you look at the panel design life, most of them are designed to withstand 25 years.
That's right. They have to match up, don't they? Yeah.
Correct. So there you go. But coming back again to Clenergy, right? Not only racking, not only cable trays. Now we're delving into the technology area. We're making batteries, ESS.
Yes.
And they're fantastic. But they're coming soon. Is actually the second generation of our ESS products, the stackable ones. They'll be around all energy time. Stay tuned for that.
Yeah,
That's
well,
gonna be
we'll be at
interesting.
All Energy, so
It's gonna be
I
interesting
think I'll
one
have
this
another
year.
chat to you about that.
And we have a good coffee with it.
Oh, because we're in Melbourne, which always serves
But
fantastic coffee.
This is what we're trying to be, a one solution company for solar, right? We're never going to make panels.
Yeah.
We're never going to make panels. That's it. That's not for us. We don't want to be in that space. No.
Yeah.
We work really hard with our panel manufacturers that we have good relationships with.
We just don't want to make them.
Just don't want to make them. But racking,
Yeah.
cable tray, portable batteries, and ESS. So let's go back and jump to portable power, because a lot of people, funnily enough, right? This is a good one. When we released the Jerry, the portable batteries, a lot of people were like, "Oh, so you guys are doing outdoor camping equipment?" I said, "No, what happens when you're on top of a roof and you need to do a shutdown and you need to disconnect? Where are you going to draw your power from? Where are you going to charge your batteries? It's a very nice tool to carry around as a port. We're in solar, in electric industry.
Absolutely.
It makes sense to have
It
a
does.
portable battery.
It does.
But one that has 3 different models. We've got the V4, 400 watt hour, V6, 600 watt hour, and V10, which is 1 kilowatt hour. And it comes with a nice little panel. Valley, I can pick that panel with my pinky toe.
Yeah, wow.
Like this. It's less than a kilo weight.
Wow.
120 watt, foldable.
Nice.
I also took it camping. Of course I did.
To try it out.
And I went with my ex-missus to Wilson's Prom. We had a nice setup. We put our tent up.
Nice.
And then I put my Jerry and I put my panel there. And, a lot of people just came back and say, oh, hey, what's that? What? Oh, yeah. Oh, here's my card. Yeah, we sell this.
Yeah.
And we also, it was a good eye catcher.
Yeah,
a lot of people were asking about it. I got my own. I've given to my brother-in-law, my sister. My niece plays around with the panel and, when we go camping. But yeah, it's a very good product. And yeah, ESS. So as the way I see it, Clenergy offers all that range of solutions, right? So I would say simplified way to put it, we've got metal division and the battery division. So metal, we do racking and cable tray, and we know how to do it. We've been 18 years doing racking. And the battery division, we got portable and we got ESS, which is a fantastic team of people, ESS, and I love to work together with them. And again, it all comes back to the people that work with us, the Clenergians, the guys that we sit shoulder to shoulder and learning from each other, collaborating, going to events. If you see us at Cutters or at All Energy or anything, you can see that we, our essence as a group, right? And that's fantastic. It's a big drive. It really motivates you. But yeah, coming back to us, this is right now, 2025, August. What is Clenergy doing? Well, we've worked on new products for each and every category. And yeah, I guess, again, coming back to it, adapting and offering something that you add value to the industry and having fun at it, why not?
That's it.
Because, racking, right? Solar roof range, very complicated. A lot of products. So how many tile feet, tin feet, we got a silver anodized, black anodized for each version, and the pre-assembled ones as well. So
there's so many things that I
didn't even get to talk to trackers.
And we didn't even talk about, that's right, we didn't even talk about the ground mount stuff.
Yeah, we didn't.
But you know something, I think we can both agree, you're going to come back for another one. We're definitely going to come back for another one. It was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. No, look,
thank
it's
you
a pleasure.
so much for coming.
Thank you, guys.
It was really good.
And thank you for creating this space, by the way. Like, this creates a very interesting space in the industry for people to share experiences, knowledges, backgrounds. Who are we? I didn't come here to talk only about a company. I came here mostly to talk about my background, what you wanted to ask, and have a good, genuine, honest conversation. Thank you for doing that.
I'm glad you had a good time too.
Yeah, and it was an honor to be here.
It's great.
I've seen a few podcasts that you've done, and I'm saying, the mix, the Thomas, the people that have been here, fantastic, man. Thank you for doing that for the industry.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks, man.